Hello students and welcome back to another online lecture of the online lecture series initiated by Shet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce, Vasai. I am Mrs. Snehal Falkau. Students, we all know that communication is an integral part of human nature. We need to communicate with people around us. Today, with the advent of new technology, the nature and means of communication have become virtual. Today, we are going to study a writing skill from section 3 of your English course book, which is drafting a virtual message. Students, what exactly is communication? In simplest words, the exchange of ideas, thoughts, and information from one person to another is called communication. As the most intelligent animal on the planet, humans have derived different communication processes to express themselves and to understand each other. Before the advent of oral communication, non-verbal methods were used, such as movements, gestures, and facial expressions. On broader terms, communication can be in various forms, such as oral communication, written communication, and virtual communication. In communication, we pass on a message. A message is an informal means of communication. The receiver of the message has to go through the given message and then pick out the most vital bits of information. Then he or she should be able to reproduce that information in order to convey it to the person for whom it is intended. In general, there are 4 types of messages. Firstly, we have positive messages. Positive messages are those that convey good feelings through thanks, appreciation, expression of interest, sympathy, extended help, and solace. Next, we have negative messages. Negative messages are those that convey disappointment, disapproval, dissatisfaction, messages of disapproval, disagreement, denial, refusal, cancellation, and so on. We also have neutral messages. Neutral messages are messages with no feelings, no emotions, no sentiments. They are dry messages or messages showing neither joy nor sorrow. Messages that do not draw any conclusion. And lastly, we have persuasive messages. Persuasive messages are those that communicate persuasively. They show agreement on the writer's point of view and use convincing language or words. As said earlier, with changing times, the nature and means of communication have undergone a drastic change. With the advent of new technology, communication has now become virtual. What is virtual communication? We define virtual communication as a mode of communication that includes the use of technology, audio and video to communicate with people who are not physically present in front of us. These people can be in the next room, the other floor, in neighborhood, or can even be miles away. Although virtual communication started way back with the invention of the telephone, the advent of webcams, video conferencing, and instant communication made virtual communication a big hit. Today, we use virtual communication in almost every walk of life. To name a few, within the family, friends, and office. Today, we will learn more about virtual communication and explore why it has become one of the most popular ways of communication. In addition, we shall take a sneak preview of some of the best virtual communication tools used across the world. Let us take a look at the major types of messages. There are 6 major types of messages: directional messages, messages of possibility, messages of reality, messages of necessity, new idea messages, and lastly, reframing messages. Let us study each of them in detail. Firstly, we have directional messages, that is, messages telling us what we should do. Sometimes messages are directional. They give us a point of view on the best way to achieve a certain goal. For example, being happier, making more money, better relationships, etc. Secondly, we have messages of possibility. Another kind of message is the kind of message that says something else is possible. No matter how stuck or hopeless or helpless we feel, there is always a pathway to reclaim our power with mindfulness, love, and simplicity. Always. Which we might distill down to: no matter how stuck you feel, there's always a way. This is a powerful message. Next, we have messages of reality. Sometimes the message is about how things really are. They are clarifying messages or mini maps that help direct people from confusion to clarity. Sometimes we suffer because we don't really see the world for how it is, and someone who can tell it like it is and reset our expectations about the possibilities and limitations of certain approaches will always engender trust. Next, we have messages of necessity, that is, we need to messages. Another kind of message is more of a call to arms for people. It's not just a message of what's possible or what's real, but what is required of us to get what we want. Next, we have new idea messages. Some messages are based on ideas that people may never have considered before. Messages with novel ideas, opinions, suggestions, views, etc. are sent with much excitement and enthusiasm. And lastly, we have reframing messages. Some messages are about taking aspects of our life that we might have framed as weakness or bad and framing them as strengths and assets. Or something we thought was bad is actually good, or something we always thought was good is actually bad. Something we thought was ugly is actually beautiful. So these were the 6 major types of messages. Having studied what is virtual communication, we shall now look at the importance of virtual communication. With so many options of virtual communication tools available within a click, it definitely makes our lives easier. Nowadays, the ability of communicating virtually and instantly or sharing our information in seconds has become very crucial. Virtual communication is creating a communication environment which is cost effective, time saving, and accessible 24/7. Communication has evolved in the last few decades, and very soon, virtual communication will be the base of communication in future. We will see a range of new products and technologies which will assist in making our virtual communication more easy and quick. Invention of telephone created the path of communication, and today virtual communication has taken over everything. With many advantages and features, people across the world have access to multiple virtual communication tools, which is making their life easy and comfortable. Students, that's all from today's video. We shall study how to draft a virtual message in the next video. Thank you.